I admire your luck, Mr.
Bond. James Bond.
Who is the lucky brunette?
Last name Beeswax, first name Nunia.
Oh, my third wife is biracial.
It's simple, really. First we...
What's the most you ever lost on a coin toss?
Sir?
The most you ever lost on a coin toss.
It's the Al Travis Show. We've got him, Senator Lucero, on the program with us. Love having him on. Sir, a week ago, I'm pretty sure because a week goes by fast. A week ago, we see things are changing on the front here in Minnesota in that the president takes, I believe, a call from Walz and Fry and come up with this we can get along plan. And he's going to take Bovino out and put Homan in. Homan has, of course, worked for like 5 presidents in a row, Biden and Obama. And I thought, okay, we're going to take a breath here. We're 1 week later, and I think the wind has been taken out of that. Your thoughts on what's transpired in the last week? Because I thought Monday or Tuesday we were going to have an opportunity to have a real break in the craziness that is Minnesota right now.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things to keep in mind here is that ICE and the Border Patrol, they operate in hundreds of cities across the 49 other states in this country. And they are doing the exact same thing, which is to obtain and arrest illegal immigrants and begin the deportation process. And you do not see the chaos and rioting happening in any of these other hundreds of cities across the country. No. What makes Minneapolis unique? It's been the instigation by Walz and Fry. So as you indicated earlier this week, there was a phone call that both Fry and Walz had with Trump. And then you saw the result of the switch out in leadership here, moving in the right direction. There was even Homan said that publicly that there would be a drawdown of some troops moving out of, or not troops, but law enforcement moving out of Minneapolis on the condition that local law enforcement then take the place and assist federal law enforcement officers. Well, then you see Fry go to this mayor's conference and he reiterates the instigating and the language that he had been using, which is riling up those to chaos. And that is very unfortunate because you saw things moving in a productive direction. And then in response, last night, Thursday night, you see Trump. I guess I don't know if it's a direct response. It's my just observation. Trump then says there will not be a drawdown of federal law enforcement officers. I believe he's directly reacting to Fry's very unfortunate continuation of the language.
Rhetoric?
The rhetoric. Exactly. So now we come to Friday and we'll see where things go. But yeah, this is happening because Fry is on very thin ice in terms of he has a city that has been harboring illegal immigrants and other criminal thugs and is he cannot show even an ounce of reasonableness or true leadership of cooperating with federal law enforcement officers or President Trump, because he then will become the recipient of the anger directed at him from this monster.
All right. See, and this is where it gets me, because then what do you get out of it, right? I mean, we're on a path. Maybe it's a great path. Maybe it's not, but a path of going back down to maybe some normalcy. But again, Fry goes to the mayor's convention. He says all those same things. I'm not helping them. He actually told other mayors, if you're not stepping up with us, you're the next ones to have this coming your way. All right. Why does he get it? You're saying to me, if I'm reading you right, that there is a portion of the Minnesota politics that will make him pay politically for not helping out with the federal government. Is that what you're telling me?
That's correct. So I've been in the legislature now for 12 years. And in my time in the legislature, I was originally elected back in 2014, began serving in 2015, and the delegation of Minneapolis and St. Paul state representatives and senators was of those that I would consider much more reasonable. They came from an era, they had been there for many years prior to me, and they came from an era of being able to work with the other side, being able to actually have conversations, be able to come up with some kind of a compromise for the betterment of all Minnesotans. Well, as Minneapolis and St. Paul slowly had this congregating of Marxist, communist extremists, illegal immigrants, those with a mentality of flirting with socialism and again in communism,
Mm-hmm.
those people that I was originally serving with, every election cycle they were either primaried or otherwise taken out one by one, dropping like flies, and then replaced with these extremists, what we see today. So now the delegation, the contingent that makes up Minneapolis and St. Paul is made up of these people that are so incredibly extreme. They are the antithesis of the foundation of this country. Fry is knowing this. He is recognizing that when he gives any kind of phone call or potential cooperation with President Trump, that he will then become their target. So he can't possibly have that. So that's why he has to publicly air this fighting and instigating words, because he doesn't want to become their next target.
That is interesting because as of last night I read about it, but this morning I got in on it, or tried to delve in on it. When Senator Klobuchar announced her run for governor, and everybody's been waiting for her to do it, right? No one jumped in ahead of time. They were waiting for her. Now she's in. I thought, okay, it's the Democrats are going to just go with her, ride that wave if you can. And all the stories were about how she was going to change the election in favor of the Democrats. Then this morning's story is a thing called Draft EMQ. It's hashtag or whatever you do on the X. And what that is for, Draft Erin May Quaid. There is an entire group of that Democratic Party, that left of left, that is saying, we can't handle Senator Klobuchar. She's too middle of the road for us. We'll find out a lot on Tuesday with the caucuses. They're asking them to write in Erin May Quaid. Well, your thoughts, and is there a big enough fission between those two, the left and the far left, that they could oust Senator Klobuchar from getting the nod for the nomination? Thank you.
Yeah. So what 100%. So we know that Amy Klobuchar, in her time in office, she has been treated with kid gloves by our local media. She has an image. It's a false image, but it is a perception that's been created by the local media of being middle of the road, moderate, reasonable, etc. Yet her voting record is anything but. She's very extreme. However, her image is moderate. And so I would also remind the Minnesotans that both Democrat governors in recent history, so Walz and then Dayton before him, both of them were the primary challengers to the Democrat endorsed candidate, and they won. They defeated him, or defeated the endorsed candidate. And so if Amy Klobuchar becomes the endorsed candidate, there will absolutely be a primary challenge by the left wing, because Amy Klobuchar will not be accepted by these radical leftists who perceive her as this moderate, corporate, reasonable type. So, yeah.
See, that's to me, because I'm not this brilliant mind, figured it was all done when she got in. Now you have this fission, if you will, with Erin May Quaid. The way to tamp that down, and this is where the rest of this goes, is should Amy offer up her seat, should she win, that could change a lot. They're talking, she went to Representative Craig, or she went to Lieutenant Governor Flanagan and said, hey, here's what I'd like to do. I win, you back me, you get my Senate seat, because she's going to have to appropriate somebody to that, right? She's going to have to appoint somebody. Well, that would shake that whole thing up. Senator Klobuchar, if she has the power, I think she does, can really set the entire stage. You got Steve Simon, who'd be interested in that governor's job. Maybe he wants the Senate job. Mayor Fry has been put out as possibly a candidate for that Senate job if Senator Klobuchar wins. This is far from settled, isn't it?
100%. There's a lot of jockeying taking place in the background that we are not seeing, obviously, behind closed doors. And yes, there will be some handshakes and agreements being made to move people into position. But yes, there is this beast, this animal that the Democrat Party has created, which is made up of these radical extremists that are never going to be satisfied. And so that is the unspoken variable here as we continue. And I would just remind everybody, we're at end of January here. We're about to come into February, the caucus. From now until November is an eternity in the political sphere. And there are so many things that can and certainly will happen to change the dynamics.
All right, I throw one more out at you before we go to break. Governor Walz came out yesterday, day before yesterday, and said, I am not running for any more political office. I'll find another way to serve. If Senator Klobuchar wins, would he not take the Senate seat if she said, you don't have to run, Governor. You've been the guy. You've been a stand. You endorsed my candidacy. You're the new senator. You don't think he'd take that, or is he done in political life? Your thoughts?
Well, I think that's absolutely a potential, and that's the danger here. Is that, and I think he's probably playing cute with words. He says, I will never run for office. He'll find other ways to serve. Well, one of those other avenues will be, there will be a number of years remaining in Klobuchar's term if she is elected governor, and she could absolutely then appoint him to fill her remaining years.
See, that's the deal. That's where this gets really crazy. This is going to change a lot of stuff depending who you vote for governor in this state. We'll be back after this. I've got him. Senator Eric Lucero on the Al Travis Show.
You need a friend at the Capitol who knows how to get things done.
And you're in luck, because that's exactly who we are, your friends at the Capitol, and we deliver results.
At Momentum Advocacy, we bring decades of experience in lobbying, public affairs, and crisis communications.
From local nonprofits to national corporations, we help you move policy, manage your media, and make your voice heard.
We're not just seasoned pros, we're essential partners.
Momentum Advocacy, your friends at the Capitol. Learn more at momentum-advocacy.com.
Think about it. Now that school's back in session, how are Minnesota students doing? Not very well. Minnesota ACT scores fell again last year and are the lowest they've been in 10 years. In fact, fewer than half of Minnesota students can either read or do math at grade level. Think about it. We used to brag about our schools. Now we're losing to states like Mississippi. Visit AmericanExperiment.org for more information. Think About It is brought to you by Center of the American Experiment, Minnesota's think tank.
As in alligator. L also in alligator. But it's not alligator. It's the Al Travis Show.
We've got him, Senator Lucero, on the program with us. Senator, let me do this. You guys are, I guess, less than 3 weeks away from starting the next session here in Minnesota.
February 17th.
Okay, so, yeah, I didn't do the math. It's 18 days away. 20, whatever. You're going to start on that Tuesday. If you would have asked me in June, and even maybe into August, gun control was everything, right? You had the guys slip into the Capitol. You had the Hoffman and the Hortman shooting. You had the church shooting of the kids. That gun control was going to be the topic in 2026. That seemed like 100 years ago. You mentioned how long 9 months is in an election. Then we had fraud, and nothing but fraud. And now we have the ICE situation. What is going to be it 3 weeks from now that you think can or cannot get done in this session? I bring up to you, you know this, 35-34 in the Senate, 67-67 in the House.
Yes, exactly. 1-seat majority in the Senate, complete tie in the House, and a lame duck governor. And so it's going to be, and the entire legislature is up. The entire legislature, all 201. So it's going to be a lot of political posturing. It's going to be a lot of grandstanding and speeches. It's going to be a lot of throwing talking points and having legislation and committee meetings, bill hearings for the base. Mm-hmm. I expect very little is going to get done in terms of the gun control, as you mentioned, in terms of even the fraud. I think the Democrats, because any committee hearing, any floor discussion on the topic of fraud is going to be damaging to the Democrats. And so they're going to do everything they can to try to avoid that. And so what is going to pass? None of those topics, I don't believe. There'll be a lot of votes, but I don't think there'll be enough votes to pass anything. The main item, I think, will be the bonding bill.
Okay, and you do that every 2 years. I don't know how exciting that gets one way or the other. But the fraud thing gets me a little bit in that it's such a huge number. It's not going to go away. As I understand it, I just got a note, Kristen Robbins, she's running for governor. She is going to go talk to the Senate committee on this. I'm pretty sure Walter Hudson is back out there with a committee this week. The national government is looking into this big time. We have threats of them stopping payments to us as far as federal staff. The threat is there. Are we still at a point where 60 of you senators voted to have the independent inspector general and it didn't go anywhere in the House? Are you telling me one House member on the Democratic side won't turn around and say, we got to get this thing done and make it happen? Now, the governor may not sign it because he is lame duck, but are you saying that doesn't go anywhere after all we found out in the last 6 months?
There is going to be a lot of pressure. You're right. And the topic is not going to go away, but there might be a few that will break ranks. But it's going to be incredible pressure needed to do that, because we saw the most extreme legislation, most extreme legislation passed in the last couple of years. And even last year, when this did die in the House, common sense, it passed overwhelmingly in the Senate. The independent inspector general to combat fraud, they held ranks. 67 voted no, and the legislation did not pass. So there is a chance that they may change their minds, but it's going to be really hard, really hard. And they then will be ostracized, in my opinion, by this monster, the extremist, radical, communist, Marxist on the left side. They will single them out. It's like they will break with the herd. And what do you do? Just like in any of these National Geographic, when the individual separates from the herd, they will then get eaten alive, and that's exactly what would happen.
All right. Real quick with the last 90 seconds if I can, with the idea that we now know Senator Klobuchar is in, and there might be some stuff with Aaron May Quaid or whatever, does that weed the field out on the Republican side, in your opinion? We had 14, one got out, we're at 15, we're at 14 now, but some of these folks all thought it'd be pretty easy pickings to go get Walz. Senator Klobuchar is another fight. Do we see that weeding down so we can get to a more manageable number on the Republican side?
I think it does. I think there will be people that will be continually reevaluating and deciding if it's going to be worth it. And so, I think, the field is, the dynamics are constantly shifting, and people will absolutely have to reevaluate their path going forward. And would it be better for them to drop out and certainly narrow the field?
Do you see that maybe dropping by half next Wednesday, because Tuesday's caucus, and if you're just not getting anywhere, no momentum, time to pull up stakes? Okay.
I think in the handful of days after Tuesday, once the straw polls come out from across the state, I think there will be a number of people dropping out for sure.
All right. Senator, I love having you on the program. I thank you for taking the time to do this with us every Friday. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
He's Senator Lucero on the Al Travis Show.
Braver Angels Minnesota is part